Ja, Ladies and Gentlemen, hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einer weiteren Folge meines Let's Plays von Vampyr. Danke, dass ihr eingeschaltet habt. Ich bin hier gerade noch so ein bisschen ratlos. Ach, jetzt muss man die Obduktion nochmal machen. Ach, scheiße. Achso, nee, das haben wir ja schon gemacht. Gut.
It's locked, all right.
Okay. Ach Gott. Wieso habe ich ein... Das geht doch gar nicht. Wieso habe ich ein Spiegelbild? Wann haben Vampire ein Spiegelbild? Komm her. Okay, wenn der also blockt, kann der mir alles... Okay, gut zu wissen. Ich will da nicht rein. Mann, oh. Achso, ich dachte, da liegt gerade ein Arm. Ich weiß immer nicht... Nee, doch, ich muss nicht den Schatten angreifen. Ich kann auch ihn angreifen. Ich muss unbedingt meine Stamina... Scheiße. Ich muss unbedingt meine Stamina regenerieren. Also aufbauen. Nein, 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 nein. Scheiße. Wieso? Ah, das ist schon wieder diese Steuerung. Warum macht er das nicht, was ich von ihm verlange? Ach, hier oben kann ich nicht lang. Okay, jetzt hat's geklappt. Diese Scheißsteuerung manchmal.
So ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
Okay, wir kriegen auch tatsächlich EP, alles klar.
Sodium hypochlorite. Dangerous to administer, but efficient in the proper dosage.
Kriegen auch EP, wenn wir hier Aufgaben erfüllen oder besser Gegner besiegen. Es sind noch mehr von den Viechern draußen. Stelle eine Behandlung gegen Erschöpfung her. Sag ich doch. Hab ich doch gehört. Stamina. Muss unbedingt Stamina. Ich muss unbedingt Stamina skillen. Ich weiß nicht, ob ich das schon gesagt habe. Natriumchlorid-Lösung. Schicke Sachen, die er so dabei hat. Was ist der nächste? Haha. Stamina. Ah, scheiße, das begrenzt aber mein Leben. Aua! Das reißt aber ja. Die was getroppt? Ja. Ich glaube, die hatte ich schon mal vorhin schon mal besiegt, aber den musste ich jetzt nochmal, weil ich ja gestorben bin. Müsste der ja draußen, müsste der jetzt auch noch sein. Du kannst deine Waffen mit Arbeitstischen aufwerten, die in jedem Unterschlupf stehen. Okay. Ja, sag ich doch. Kann ich denn irgendwie schleichen? Scheiße. Ich bin noch ein Dritter. Ja, das sollte er nicht machen, weil dadurch wird mein Leben limitiert. Ich muss das noch ein bisschen üben. Was ist denn das hier mit den... Ey. Jetzt bin ich dran. Es ist so, die Steuerung ist echt ein bisschen weird. Besser als gar nichts. Gut, wir sammeln ein bisschen den Scheiß hier an. Wo müssen wir denn hin? Da müssen wir hin. Wir müssen auch noch da oben irgendeinem die Brieftasche abgeben. Häufig von Lungen, also bleiben Sie zu Hause. Okay. Komme ich nicht rüber? So, wie bist denn du eigentlich?
Good evening, sir.
Ist das der Arzt?
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us.
Der die Obduktion
I
oder
can't think of any better news during
der so
these
fertig ist?
terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
Vor allem das mit dem Blatttransfusionsspezialist.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No, we must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. Once more unto the breach.
Nurse Brannigan is worried about you, Doctor.
She should not have told you that. I will have a word with her.
You
Scheiße.
don't have to blame her for her honesty.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear Jonathan. Actually, Nurse Brannigan's opinion is the only one I may listen to.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Der ist doch
get me
betrunken,
wrong.
so wie der wankt.
Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish she would
Er
get
kann
out
doch nicht ja
the
gerade
office
stehen.
again.
Corcoran, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake. That's the blunt truth.
What was the nature of the mistake?
It was a twofold error. My diagnosis was wrong, and the administered dosage was too strong.
Who was this patient?
I don't know. Some sick man from the docks, maybe a fisherman. I had no time to talk with him. No one claimed a body.
Why not stop practicing?
Are you mad? I killed that man, I admit it, and it won't happen again. I have saved so many lives since then.
So lange war der noch nicht tot.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Das Krankenhaus ist voll.
And I thought last summer's epidemic was difficult.
Wir haben noch jemanden, den da oben, also diesen Kopf da. Ich glaube, da müssen wir noch. Stadt, Sie leben, Mensch, ist ein Stich ins Freiwillig machen den Unterschied. Okay. Wir müssen da oben jemandem noch sein Portemonnaie geben. Und dann würde ich mal sagen, dass wir in der nächsten Folge mal rausfinden, was mit Selma ist. Okay, das ist hier auf der Etage. 40 Meter. Okay. Falsche Seite. Das ist zu hoch. Aber da hinten war doch nichts. Und dann macht ne links lang, oder? Ja, geht's auch nirgendwo lang? Ja gut, wir machen erstmal unsere Aufgabe hier fertig. Der Sitz generiert, okay. Jetzt habe ich auf einmal nur noch 1200. Ich habe doch eben mehr gehabt. Ich habe da eben 2000 oder so gehabt. Ich habe doch eine Behandlung hergestellt. Ach so. Bring die Medizin zu Dorothy Crane im Patientenzimmer. Warte mal, wir haben doch eine Map. Ah, verdammt. Wie kann ich hier rein? LB. Ach, der ist da draußen. Ach, das ist das falsche Ziel. Das ist die Geschichte. Aber ich habe doch noch irgendwas mit... Das ist die Mission. Mit Selma. Selma und Luis, aber das machen wir in der nächsten Folge.
It's locked, all right.
Wer bist du denn?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Vielleicht ist er auch noch ein Maler.
Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Was machst du denn hier?
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
Aren't you too old for such jealousy? It really won't do you any good, you know.
Don't be ridiculous, Dr. Reed. A simple glance is enough for me to know you have nothing for me to envy.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Ich glaube, mit dem werden wir nicht mehr Freunde.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you.
Was ist sein
You
Problem?
avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Muss man hin? 18 Meter. Irgendwo links. Da ist er. Wieder mal Blut verschmiert.
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls? When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
Krankheiten verringern die Blutqualität eines Bürgers. Verwende die Richtung, um ihm zu helfen. Ein Verräter im Krankenhaus. Soll ich mit dir reden?
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'll let you get some rest then.
Don't waste your time with me.
Wer bist du?
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you
Mortimer.
check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents.
Mortimer
as
ist
a
ein schöner
physician.
Name.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Ooh.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
Das ist nicht schön.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and...
Not really. Yes, maybe.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back.
Das macht keinen Sinn.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
Okay.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate
Aber
to contact me. if
ich
you
sollte
need
doch die
anything.
Spritze irgendjemanden hier geben.
Time with me.
Emir? Emir? Irgendjemand sollte ich dem die
Good
Spritze hier
evening,
geben.
sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Das Schlimme ist, dass es im Februar, März hier in Köln genauso schlimm war. Mit den ganzen Grippefällen, da waren sie auch teilweise überfordert.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to
I was more curious about what you...
I'm a carpenter.
Tell me about the
Strickland and Aykroyd.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with...
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick.
Ich sollte doch hier irgendjemand diese scheiß Spritze geben. Da stand doch hinter der Ärztin. Hinter der Schwester.
Dr. Reed, may I help you?
What can you tell me about the epidemic, Nurse Crane?
Sollte doch
I've
irgendjemand...
been out of touch since
Ich
I
versteh's
came back
nicht.
to England.
Everyday folk don't know how bad it is. The papers certainly won't tell them. Not as long as the war is raging on, anyway.
News on the front stated that the Spanish flu was under control, at least in Britain.
It seemed to be for a while, but that was only last summer. It returned with a
What can you tell me about our...
This hospital was founded to help the...
Can you be more...
Well, veterans.
For how long have...
I first volunteered at the Pembroke in 1911.
And before you...
If you must know, this was my first...
Okay, sorry, ich skippe das mal ein bisschen.
Not in an official...
What about medical...
Dr. Reed, we don't have the money and...
How is the duty...
Everybody works until they can't.
I'll see you later, Nurse Crane.
Ich geb's auf, sorry. Keine Ahnung. Suche Bürger. Niedere Wille sie mit Bedacht aus. Ich weiß nicht, warum das jetzt aufkommt. Alter, ich kann mich ja tatsächlich mit jeder unterhalten, ey. Das ist der mit dem Gesicht, das ist die Vampirin. Gut, meine Lieben, ich würde aber sagen, wir machen mal hier Feierabend. Wenn es euch gefallen hat, schreibt es in die Kommentare, gebt mir einen Daumen nach oben und ich hoffe, wir sehen uns dann morgen wieder. Bis dann, ciao.